All right, what is up, takers? Welcome back to Ty's Take Today Live. I am Tyler Belts. We do this each and every Thursday and Sunday. We're currently live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And coming up on today's show in just a couple of seconds, actually, we are going to be talking to writer and photographer Kahn Santori Davison. So we're going to talk to him a little bit about his creative talents and his story and how he got started in the industry. And then, of course, Benicia Ciara is going to be joining me, as well as Malik Australia, for the second half of the show, where we will be diving into what's been currently trending and get you all caught up and up to date on those stories and more. So without further ado, you guys already know how we begin each and every show. If you haven't already, be sure to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/@It's Ty's Take Today. Also, Instagram @It's Ty's Take Today as well. And of course, be sure to also go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube. We just reached 300 subscribers. So our next goal is 500 and then 1,000. And we're just going to keep increasing and building from there. So for those that have been rocking and following us, and watching every Thursday and Sunday, much love and appreciation. We are going to be continuing to give you what's trending and focusing on various stories that are impacting you, our audience, and our communities. And of course, TysTakeToday.com. We try to keep it all simple and quick and easy for you all. And like I said, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, be sure to chime in and share your thoughts. Or if you have any questions or you want to voice your opinion and your perspective, you can do so in the live chat as well. All right. Now that I got all of that out of the way, I am going to go ahead and take this banner off, and we are going to go ahead and invite our first guest to the virtual stage. Make some noise or get loud for Kahn Santori Davison. How are you?
Excellent. How's it going, Ty?
Doing well, staying busy. Like I said, I want to just thank you for joining us today. We had a last minute cancellation, so I'm glad that we got to have you on today. And I really just want to introduce you and your talents and introduce who you are as a creative to our audience.
Cool. Very cool.
All right. So I really want to just go ahead and dive right in. When did you first start and realize that, your passion and your calling was journalism and photography? And what kind of inspired that journey for you?
Well, like a lot of other people, I wanted to be a rapper. And as the story goes, back in the up until the internet era, artists used to do what is called in stores, meaning that if an artist is coming in tour to your city, they would go to the malls, they would go to the local record stores as a way to promote their album and also promote the show that's happening. And so my favorite store ever was Byright record store on West 7 Mile near Livernois. And this particular day, Method Man and Redman are there. Method Man had his album There's a Dark Side. I mean, Method Man had his album To Cow, and Redman had There's a Dark Side. And meet and greet, just regular stuff. I'm like 18, 19 years old, and a cipher forms, like very organically. Like, you know what I mean? Somebody starts rapping, here's the circle, Redman starts rapping, somebody else starts rapping, and then Method Man goes and drops some bars and looks at me. And I'm like, no. And it was at that point that I was like, okay. And mind you, this is a time where I kind of considered myself a rapper. I thought like, I had some skills. And so I felt like, you know what? That was a moment. You could tell your great grandkids that you was in a cipher with two of the illest MCs all the time, man. And so I said, all right, if I want to contribute to the culture, it's going to have to be a different way.
That is crazy. That's such a wild experience, just to be, the divine timing and just being at a particular place at the right time. What has been some of your most rewarding interviews that you've done, or even photography projects?
One of the more rewarding interviews, I'd have to say, Bot 10 from Slum Village. It was sad but rewarding because, there's somebody. Now we have all this awareness when it comes to mental health, when it comes to depression, when it comes to just substance abuse. And so here was an artist who was known and loved in Detroit, historic groups, Slum Village, Jay Dilla, T3, Young RJ. I mean, this was a phenomenal group. And, he's on crack, literally. Said right and told me, hey, man, I was messed up. I started smoking crack. He was a schizophrenia. He was bipolar. He was suffering from depression. And at the time that I interviewed him, he was trying to figure out how to get past all of this, put it all back together, because there still was demand. He still had opportunities, but like as they say, he had to get clean first, and that's where he was at, getting clean. And so he gave me, to this day, probably the most transparent interview ever. Because I mean, who really wants to admit to you that they smoke crack? And we're talking like 2000, 2007, or 2000, actually, yeah, 2007 or 8. Nobody wants to say, yeah, I smoke crack. No, but he
Right.
gave me a beautiful, transparent interview, and I really hope like my interview was going to be like, okay, we could kind of bookmark this as this is where it turned, and a year or two from now, he's going to be in a space where it was like, damn, remember when 2 years ago, you was on drugs, you were depressed, and that didn't happen. He ended up dying of a drug overdose not too much longer after that interview.
Wow.
So part of me, I mean, it was heartbreaking, but I did feel as though I was happy I was able to tell his story and put the human. You saw the human behind the issues. You know what I mean? Like, he's not just a rapper. It's not just a drug addict. Like, this is a real man with a family, with a daughter, and and he listen. He got caught up. He had issues that never got addressed. He was trying. There was the interview. He was trying to figure these things out.
Absolutely. I think it's so powerful. We talk a lot about mental health, and we're going to dive into that part of the conversation in just a little while. But I think it's so important. We look at these, celebrities or public figures and think that, like, their life is amazing. They have it all together. But at the end of the day, being a journalist and a photographer, you have the opportunity to actually sit and maybe share some of their stories or a part of their journey that, many of us may not know about prior to your
Mm-hmm.
content. So what has been some of the biggest challenges that you faced when covering, like we talked about, complex issues, or even within mental health when it comes to the communities and neighborhoods, especially in Detroit?
It doesn't get too complicated. It really, everything changes depending on the subject matter and the person. Like a complicated article that I kind of had to write about was I wrote about Zeke in New Era, Detroit, and they do amazing things as far as trying to keep people in the community safe, and also trying to bring accountability and attention to those who aren't trying to keep the community safe. They phenomenal group, but that group, during the early years of that group, they had a very adversarial relationship with the police. It wasn't always unified. They were very at odds with each other. And as you might expect, here's a group that is essentially, as it's seen, trying to do maybe police work from their eyes. And so now having to write about this and keep it honest and keep it transparent, because Zeke from New Era was phenomenal interview, but when he's talking about certain things that, hey, I got to get a quote from the mayor's office. I have to get a quote from the police chief. I have to get a quote from city council just to vet certain things he brought up. And some quotes I kind of felt like, okay, he had to say this because if I would have asked him this question 5 years ago, he would have gave a different response. And on some cases, I didn't get a response at all from certain people. But I had to, again, you're talking about organization that the politics had changed since they started. Now they're being celebrated, and now they've gone from being seen kind of as like maybe an enemy or a nuisance to the community as far as police and municipal leaders. Now they're seen as an ally. So in writing an article about their inception, hey, police mayor's office, maybe they didn't want to talk so much about the past when them in New Era weren't always on good terms. So again, you write it's fair, and so anytime to readers, anytime you see those quotes that says we reached out to the city, we reached out to authorities, we reached out to lawyers, and we did not get a response. Well, that's the reason. The journalist is attempting to be fair and be sure both sides are represented and what things were said were responded to by the opposing party or co-collaborators or whatever, and they didn't give a response. They didn't respond. It happens, but it's complicated nonetheless.
Absolutely, trying to be fully transparent and even showcasing both sides, or like you said, even the act of the attempt of, hey, we reached out to the
Yeah,
city, hey, we reached out to this department or this organization, just to be fully transparent. I think that's especially important, especially nowadays, with like having to be mindful and really flesh out what type of media we're allowing our bodies to absorb.
right.
Speaking of that, how do you yourself approach storytelling when it comes to like the multi platforms that are out here? I know, well, TikTok's up in the air, and like you being a photographer and a journalist, how do
Mm,
you set yourself apart from, say, other journalists in Detroit?
I don't know if I do that great a job setting myself apart because the blunt truth is that all forms of legacy media are trying to figure out what this new media is. Whether we're talking about TV, we're talking about radio, we're talking about print journalism, we're all in the same boat, is trying to figure out this world that used to be dominated. It used to be, print media was driven by ad revenue. I mean, people, you can talk about banner ads and these little things that pop up on websites all you want. It is the income that papers and magazines make now compared to everything from a business card to full paid ads is nowhere near. Ad revenue was just a monster of a financial resource for print media, and it kind of goes the same with pretty much TV and radio. And so now ad revenue is down because uh, people go other places for the same content, and and you're trying to figure out where is our space in this. Like you said, there is TikTok, there is YouTube, there is these information that's given to you in very short spurts. I still write thousand, sometimes 2,500 word articles. I still write a lot of long form journalism where in a society we get more and more, we want things more compact. So I'm still adjusting, and I kind of I kind of put myself in the place of, what, I have to do what I do best, and I haven't found a way to be consistent like you are with a show every Thursday. Every Thursday, 6 o'clock, you're live, you're on. I haven't found a way to find where I fit into that space on a consistent level. So I appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely, it's not easy, to say the least. I really found myself, because at one point I was just producing content here and there, and then a friend of mine, Rachel, she was like, Tyler, whatever you do, you just have to bring it consistently. She was like, if you're talking to one person live, or 4 people, or 20 people, or people are watching it back later on pre-recorded, she was like, whatever you do, you have to be constantly. And working multiple jobs, I'm like, how in the world am I supposed to even do this? So I will say I appreciate that, because I'm still trying to find my balance as well. I want to talk a little bit more about having living and being a creative, and also living in, working in Detroit. What is one thing about the city that you wish more people understood or appreciated?
Uh, I wish people appreciated the storytellers and creatives that we already have here, And I had one of my mentors, Bobby Francis. She was one of my writing mentors. She told me, and a lot of creatives, man, 10 years ago, and she says, "Listen, Detroit is going to go through this transformation on the outside, mostly, man, on the inside. But what's going to happen is people are going to come here, artists, creatives. They're going to come in from the outside, and they're going to win awards. They're going to get fellowships. They're going to get opportunities, and they're going to be the ones that end up telling the story of this city because you all live here aren't stepping up, And as she said, that has happened, And so I need people to understand that there is a plethora. There's a lot of talent here in the city. We don't always have to, be excited about who's coming in town or who's here or who's not from here, as a way to say, oh, okay, you're not from here, and that's cool. Where are you? It doesn't make you any better or no any worse that you're not from Detroit, and just to cherish, because there was a period. It was this saying when we used to say, Detroit makes them, New York takes them, and LA fakes them, because the mindset was that if you're a creative here, Detroit would not reward you for your talent, and so you got to go somewhere else for those opportunities because they won't be here, you know. And so now that shifted a lot. It's a lot of people want to come here, and so we just need people to cherish and be thankful and show love, whether that's monetary, whether that's clicks, just be aware of, you have a lot of creative literary artists and visual artists here that's deserving of you listening to, of you viewing, of you clicking on or liking a post or sharing.
Absolutely. And kind of, if you don't mind, I do want to talk a little bit about your most recent article for the Metro Times. I know a lot of Detroiters back home are talking about your article, so I'm going to go ahead and share a screen grab of that. But I want to talk a little bit about this most recent work and what, if you can disclose if you have any upcoming projects that you're currently working on.
Yeah, I can't disclose them, but I do. I pretty much, there's always something in the rotate, always something coming. Sometimes just in media world, you don't know necessarily, when it's going to get published, or the person hasn't maybe agreed to interview yet. But there's always something. But that article, that had been a long time coming. That was something that we had actively had been working on here and there, talking to his team over the years, and this opportunity was great for everyone. He had a new book that he was pushing that I liked, that made for a good conversation, and he was very open, and in interviewing somebody like Big Sean, most things you probably read from national publications on artists and entertainers of that larger stature, you don't get a whole lot where they're from. I ask Detroit questions. I ask questions for people that live here. I didn't feel the need to dig so much into the man's relationships with other people. You know what I mean? Things like that. I asked him a lot of things that once we got outside the book and different things we talked about, as far as with his grandmother, his battles with depression and substance abuse at different times in his career, his origin story, being at Cass Tech, running to the radio station, meeting Kanye West. We got all that, but we also talked about how Street Lord Juan from the Street Lords was one of his first mentors early on before things popped off. We talked about how he put payroll from Double A Cash Out on his second album, about how his song Certified on his most recent album features Nassan, who's Big Prue's son from D12. So we talked about a good number of things related to Detroit and the music and motion that's going on here, and that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted a good Detroit interview, not just a bunch of industry stuff that we can read about in People magazine or Vibe or something like that.
Absolutely, that organic authenticity. That you know your audience, so knowing what your audience wants to read, and like you said, not just something that we can read from like a national or a syndicated outlet.
Right, because they're gonna ask him about him and Janae, and they're gonna ask him, oh, that's all they want to hear about. Mm-hmm. Like, let's talk about the relationships you have here, and the moments here, the music here, stuff like that.
Absolutely. And I know we touched on mental health a little bit, but how do you take care of your mental health? Especially because our industry is just is always it's fast, it's quick revolving, it's intense at times. How do you navigate that aspect of your life?
That is that's actually something I'm still trying to figure it out. Historically, one of the main things I did is I've always made it I try to make it a point not to worry about things I have no control over. And then the second main thing is that I've always used my creative ventures as a safe space. My wife could tell you, there aren't too many things I'd rather be doing outside of writing and taking pictures. I mean, outside of course spending time with family, but it is not too many other things that I would just rather be doing. I'm behind the camera, or I'm sitting here in my office working on a story, or I'm at a hip hop concert taking pictures, having a good time, for another story. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like you could call it like my mental bat cave, and my internal, man cave that I can always retreat to. I think a lot of times the problem is with creatives, because we can be so goal driven, you end up developing this bipolar relationship as a creative with your medium, because you focus on creating, but the other half of the focus is to advance that creativity. Have I posted enough? Have I filled out enough fellowships for grants? There's all these things you're doing to bring attention to the phenomenal work you're creating. It compromises your relationship with the work. You know what I mean? It's so stressful trying to promote the work and get it out there that it takes away from the joy of being in that space. And for the most part, I think that's something that I've avoided doing. You know what I mean? I've always made it a point to enjoy the creative process, and that keeps me sane. If nothing else, that keeps me here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what advice for those that may be out here that maybe you want to start a career in photography, or start a career in journalism? What advice would you give to people out there that may be watching?
Learn every single skill. It used to be you could get a degree in journalism or communications, and you say, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go. I want to be a radio broadcaster and do just that. I want to go get a job, at a newspaper or magazine. And the route was similar. You would graduate college, maybe you did an internship when you was there. Hey, and maybe you end up in Grand Rapids or Monroe, small market at the job. And then maybe you go to a little medium market, you end up in Cleveland. And then you end Detroit. You know what I mean? The route, throw all that away. The route is similar, but you have to learn. Learn how to get behind the mic, do radio, learn how to get in front of the camera for TV production, but also learn how to produce shows, learn how to write a show treatment, learn how to get behind the camera, in front of the camera. The same thing with writing, learn how to write the story, learn how to edit the story, learn how to copy edit, learn every aspect of the field of journalism, because the opportunities that periodicals and media companies, they're still trying to figure it out as well. But learn how to make less than 1 minute videos for TikTok. Learn how to be able to take your story, be able to make a 37 clip of that story, and also be able to do a quick monologue for a YouTube short on that story, and be able to write 400 to 600 words in that. Learn every aspect, because and unfortunately, well, I'm gonna say unfortunately, but to be honest, start you a blog and try to build your following, because I honestly think that we're gonna get to a point, specifically with print and legacy media, that a lot of people that will still be here and thrive will be those that have followings. And MSN, you can sell MSNBC. Me and my 100,000 followers, are going to come right for you, and that is 100,000 followers or 200 on multiple platforms that you can have the galvanized content with. You know what I mean? We're going to get to a point where all those things, you do multiple things, you have a following that wants to see all those things, and you can bring all that professional equity to whether you start your own or whoever you're employed by. That by far would be the best strategy I would use for those looking for a career in journalism.
Absolutely, dropping gems. And before we get out of here, so on past with guests this season, we've been doing like a quick rapid fire game of random questions. So if you're down to play, I got a couple of those questions for you.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
All right, first up, if you could photograph any historical event or moment in time, which would you choose and why?
It would. Well, actually, it would have to be. I can't remember the year. I want to say late '60s, when the Black Panther Party had went. I believe it was Oakland, and they went like into the courthouse. They were armed, and they went to make their case known for things they wanted to see happen in their community. And they went. No, was it Oakland? Was it California State? But they went to the. I can't remember. I'm having brain fog right now, but I can just imagine the looks on people's faces, and also documenting and photographing that strength and confidence that they showed up with, saying, "Hey, we're the Black Panther Party. We're armed. We represent these people from disenfranchised communities and Black folks from here, and we need better healthcare. We need this." That would be something I would have loved to witness something like that.
Absolutely, extremely powerful. And then we talked a little bit about a previous interview that you've done, but has there been any other interviews or just conversations in general that has completely like changed your perspective on something?
Well, you know what? We can take it back, man. One of my very, very first kind of sort of a big interview. There was a fighter. This is like 2001. There was a boxer named Ricky Womack. Man, Ricky had went to the went like to the supposed to go to the Olympics. He had fought Holyfield all this time. He was the next big thing, and he decided he wanted to rob a Blockbuster video store and got 15 years in jail. And so he gets out, and I'm writing for a paper called the Michigan Citizen, and they send me to interview him. And so I go in Butzel Community Center, and Ricky's in there training, and this dude, look, I mean, there wasn't any fat anywhere. He was probably almost 40, maybe 38 or something, but he looked like he was 25 and just, I mean, I was like, God, this guy. And he was so confident. He just talked, yeah, I did my time, but I'm a Christian. He was just, everything was, and I'm here to pick up where I left off. I'm in the best shape of my life, and this and this. I'm like, man, this is going to be an amazing comeback story. This guy's in shape. He looks good. He talks fluid. He's not stuttering. He's intentional in his words. You know what I mean? Man, Ricky had a few fights and ended up committing suicide about 9 months after that interview. Wow. And I think about the interview quite often, because you just to see somebody physically and verbally so confident and so mature in that moment, you like, man, this is and but then I realized that a lot of times we accuse people of acting fake. So he's fake. He's not all that. Sometimes people are just projecting where they want to be because they haven't got there yet. Because the darkness or insecurities is still holding them back. But they can still project a version of themselves they want to get to. And that's what I always thought Ricky was doing. All that he was talking and good talking, confidence. I'm this. I'm going to be this. He wasn't there yet, but he really wanted to get there. And at some point, he gave up and was like, "Well, I guess the best parts of myself still in that prison," and he took his own life.
Wow, I'm speechless. I couldn't imagine actually being, having the conversation and getting to have that experience. What is one album or song that perfectly captures the energy and soul of Detroit for you?
Ooh, that is a tough one. That I don't know. There's too many. I really liked Doughboy Cash Out Good Ass Day was a classic. It's very. I thought it captured like the very essence of Detroit, but also feel the same way about Slum Village's Players. That was no. That's around the time I was going to Cafe Mahogany. I was in the poetry scene, and that was a song you always heard, and it always just fit the vibe and the aesthetic of Detroit's culture and creative scene at that time.
Okay. And then lastly, what is, if you could write or photograph a future story on any person, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Ooh, who would it be? That is a tough. You said so you mean somebody currently that's still living? I mean, you mean like, okay. Honestly, it would probably be Malcolm X. It would. If I could write a story and photograph a story, and just talk to somebody, if I could, go to the afterlife and talk to Malcolm X and get his take on everything that's happening now, where he stands on all these issues, where he stands on Trump, how did he feel about Obama? I would love to hear Malcolm X's take on many of these issues and I guarantee you, I would find a way to get a Pulitzer surprise for that story because I would kill it. I'd crush
Absolutely. I could already imagine that alone. You would all the accolades, all the awards for sure.
it. Right.
Um, so before we get out of here, I do also want to just let everybody know where they can follow you, where they can connect with you. And do you seek clients for like different photo shoots or
Yeah.
as
Yep.
well?
They can go to the website, hit me on IG. I photograph weddings, parties. I pretty much I photograph a lot of events, retirement parties, sweet 16 parties. I've been doing that almost as long as I've been right. They kind of go hand in hand. So yeah, yep. That is a big part of my outlet, big part of my business. A big part of my yearly income is in photography business.
Absolutely. And there you guys have it. His Khan's Instagram is also on the screen. We'll be sure to put all of your contacts and socials in the description of our video as well. Also, make sure to check out his latest article with Big Sean from
Yes,
the
sir. Yes, sir.
Metro Times. And just thank you so much for giving us part of your evening to share your story and your talents. And hopefully we can have you on again soon to talk about all of the cool projects that you have going on.
Cool. Anytime. Just hit me on the DM and Instagram. Would love to.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right, Ty. Take care.
All right, so that was Kahn Santori Davison. You guys should be sure to check him out. Like I said, we'll post all of his social media links in the description and captions of our videos, so you guys can connect with him if you're interested in seeing his latest projects and articles. Be sure to go ahead and do that. And now she's not a stranger to Ty's Take Today Live, and I believe this is her third time. We're just keeping it coming. I'm gonna add my guest co-host to the show, Benicia Ciara.
Hi everyone. Hello.
Happy
What's up, takers?
Thursday.
Sorry.
Yes, you are good. How are you? I'm loving the
I'm good.
glasses.
I'm good. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. New week, new energy. Just came into so many new lanes of working. So I am a little tired, but the energy is still the same.
Absolutely. Well, like always, like I've told you off air, I am so glad to have you on. I can't believe this is your third time on the show
I
already.
know.
Hey, look, we're making it a regular thing. So I do also want to say really quickly, Malik Australia was going to be joining us, and I hope I said it right. I'm pretty sure I said it right. I'm always like I talk so fast that I'm like second guessing myself. But Malik was going to join us. He's been texting me. He is not able to make it. He's stuck in traffic. So we're definitely going to get a show on and do a live with Malik, because that's how we were introduced to each other.
Right.
So I was like, we're about to bring this full circle.
Right.
But I just wanted to let you know in case you didn't know, and for our audience, because I know we promoted it as two guest co-hosts. And then I also do want to just because a lot of the topics today are going to be interesting and controversial. Yeah, that's right. But I did want to start our segment today, and I'm trying to find my little banner really quickly. I just wanted to say our thoughts, condolences, prayers, sending strength to all of the families and people impacted by the collision that occurred near Washington. So the latest numbers, for those that may not know, 67 people were killed. A American Airlines plane and an Army helicopter collided. So I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that even though we are going to be talking about a lot of different and interesting and fun topics, I wanted to make sure that we recognize that at this time, they're saying that there's reports that staffing wasn't normal at the time of the incident. And this is the country's deadliest aviation disaster in almost a quarter century. So as you know, the investigations are still going on. So I just wanted to take a brief moment to share our thoughts and prayers and sending everybody impacted or affected by this strength during this time.
That's really all I can say is thoughts and prayers, because I'm still like researching as time goes, because it's really disheartening to see, because what I did know that there was like children on that plane as well. So I'm really just sending prayers to the families and everybody affected and the staff. Let's pray for the staff that has to go and find the people. So it's a lot. It's a lot. This is a crazy January.
Absolutely, and let's just hope that February is even just a little bit better.
Right.
So if you haven't seen, on a lighter note, Don Julio and Popeyes are teaming up. And I love me some Popeyes here and then. I'm trying to go vegan, but it was supposed to start in January. That has not happened.
Okay.
So I'm gonna push it to February, but I feel like I'm already gonna just push it to March. So
Right.
maybe by July,
Okay.
your
Okay.
boy will be a vegan. But so it looks like they are teaming up with Don Julio Tequila. So it's going to be there's going to be a reposado flavored chicken sandwich.
Yep.
Which, count me in. I'm hungry. I want to try it, Benicia.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know where I stand with it. Love the PR box, but the timing is kind of crazy. I know it's for the Super Bowl. I'm here for it. I just wish they would have gave us like some Creole, like they could have gave us that. I don't know. I like the direction. But let's be honest, we was thinking it was about to be that mango lemonade Don Julio situation. And I get it because Popeyes doesn't have a liquor license, but
see, yeah, I totally was hoping, but I mean, I guess we can settle for a chicken sandwich that's like cooked in it, or
yeah, like I can settle for that. I can see that. Just don't be fighting in line for it, people. We cannot do this again.
We are not having a repeat. That is all. And I mean, for those that don't drink, a spicy hibiscus mocktail does kind of sound good. Like that's something that I'll try as well. But I'm gonna be fully transparent. I might bring it home and just add my own Don Julio into it. So
I'm here for it. I'm here. If you saw on TikTok, the PR box, they gave him like a whole I want to say it was like either a half a pint or a pint of Don Julio Reposado.
I'm gonna try it. Let's both try it. Oh, okay. No, you know, we can't try it because it's not even gonna be available.
Oh, right. It's not even in our state.
It's not in Michigan. It's not in Ohio. For those that are watching in New York, Miami, New Orleans, Philadelphia, and Kansas, y'all can try it. Let us know how it is. All right, this next one. So Starbucks, you guys know Tyler loves Starbucks. So anytime we're gonna always talk about Starbucks. But they recently just announced that 30% of their menu is actually going to be eliminated by the end of 2025. So we don't know what drinks or what food. We just know that certain menu items are no longer going to be available. To me, that's just a business smart move because it's going to be items that aren't selling or not selling enough to keep. So I don't see the problem.
I don't see the issue with it. We're just now at a point now with Starbucks, like y'all doing your own thing. They're doing their own thing. Cause I still haven't forgot you got to pay a drink to sit in the space. So I didn't forget. That's why I'm standing on business with Starbucks. I don't care if you throw away the drinks. I can't just sit in the space for vibes.
Benicia said you're taking away the third home, the third place to go to when you just don't want to be at home.
And plus, it's like you're eliminating 30% of the menu, and it's also like, well, dang, like y'all done took away the medicine balls, y'all done took away like what else? What else, America? What else?
On the bright side, though, for those that are like drink coffee with like cream and sugar,
right.
and like to do it themselves, they are adding those, like, because I used to be a barista at Starbucks, and that was always a pain, like having to go out there every couple hours and refill the creamer and the sugar, and like it just gets messy. People don't know how to clean up after themselves. It was just a headache. So I guess during when COVID first happened, they took away the condiment bar. So they are bringing that back now. And now they are also going to be able to let you get your free refills, like if you bring your own type of ceramic mug or tumbler. So they're I don't know. I won't have a problem with Starbucks until they make me pay for my oat milk again. Then we have a problem.
Okay.
Then we have.
I like that stance.
Or if something major happens, or like something that then
right.
I'll be out.
I understand.
This next one, I don't even know what to do. I really don't. But it's trending. It's irrelevant. it's relevant to some. So I'm gonna just let the headline speak for itself.
Choppa. I saw him go on live, and he did talk about it, and he said, "I'm not gay baiting. I'm not a homosexual," which is totally fine or whatever. But it's like my big sister Troy tells me this all the time. The impact is different than the intention. You can have the best intentions, but think about the impact. And it's like you know how social media gets. And I will say, I don't really think he really care. Because honestly, NLE Choppa been doing what he want since he was 15 years old on the internet. So it's like, at this point, leave the young man alone. He does not care. He don't care what y'all believe.
And for those of you that are like, what the hell are we talking about? We are talking about I can't even. We're talking about NLE Choppa's his photo shoot. He took some time away from the Paris Fashion Week. Basically, like Benicia said, to address, you know, some that are claiming that he is gay baiting or they're questioning his sexuality. Yeah, and those were photos from a photo shoot he did with Playgirl. So full transparency, we're gonna give our take and we're gonna roll the clips. So I'm gonna share a brief clip of NLE Choppa really quickly addressing the situation. So let me just go ahead and
even funny for so. But I really don't care, and that's what I think. That's the problem. Think I don't care so much that it take away from that. It's like a disconnect. It's like since I don't care so much and I know who I am so much, it's like people tend to feel like I just feel like narratives get painted because I don't care so much. So I just want to clear the narrative for a small bit. But do not say that I'm a gay baiter because I'm comfortable enough to show off the perfection that God has orchestrated for my physical, my mental, my spiritual, and even my emotions. I am not a gay baiter because I post a selfie in the mirror showing off how beautiful I am. I am not a gay baiter if I post a picture showing off how much God has blessed me from below the waist with something that got women going crazy. I am not a gay beta because in Playgirl shoot, I showed a piece of my ass. I can't show a piece of my own ass without being called a man. It's my ass. I am not a gay beta because I showed my ass to a lady photographer. She said, "You think that you could pull it down a little bit?" I said, "What?" She said, "You know, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it." I said, "You know what?" I said, "Why the fuck not? It's my ass." So
But see, those that have been watching NLE since, you know, his come up days, he's always been like, I'm gonna be myself. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, as a, you know, previous fan, I know for a fact that's just who he is. That is just who he is. He don't really care what y'all think.
see. My thing is, I feel like him and his posts are causing attention.
Yeah.
And that's what he wants to do. He's posting these and looking for a response, and he knows that people are going to jump on and either go off on him or they want to, you know, they it's going to be something that, well, we're talking about it.
Right.
So I think that it was just funny to me that he addressed it, and he's like, because it's mine, so why not?
Right.
And I think, I don't want to say he's necessarily gay baiting, but I do think that he's posting this type of content for reaction and for responses. And I personally, I don't care who you are. You could be, I'm trying to think of a celebrity that, like, you could be anybody, and I just don't think that we need to be seeing all of this on social media.
Trish Paytas. There we go. Trish Paytas. But love her down for everything she does, because she's gonna be herself and she doesn't care.
I don't understand. But like you said, he's been doing this for so long. He's gonna continue to do it.
And see, we live in a culture now, y'all. Y'all gotta spot a troll. Y'all have to be able to spot a troll. Like, he's just making a joke because, like he said, it's his behind. He can show it if he wants to. It's all a joke to him either way. So it's like you fell into the marketing trap.
Hey, NLE Choppa, don't hate me. Don't come for me. I'm not looking for my Twitter to be flooded with people going off on Tyler. That's not what we're doing. I think, troll on. If that's what you're going to do, I just need to make sure that I'm not following you because I'm not trying to see it. But for those that are, and hey, you're comfortable with your body, do you?
Right.
That's all I got. That's all Tyler has to say.
You're right.
This next one, so this one's coming to us from Detroit. Deja Blanding, she's known as she's a rapper from Detroit. She's known as Dank DeMoss. So this story has went viral all week. She basically requested a Lyft ride earlier this month to go to a Detroit Lions watch party. And when the driver arrived, he saw Deja and told her that he couldn't give her a ride because of her weight. And Blanding, Deja recorded the entire encounter or a portion of the encounter, and now she's suing Lyft for discrimination. So there is a screenshot of Deja Blanding, and I think that was during her story with Fox 2 Detroit. But everybody's talking about it on social media, and she's filed the lawsuit. The lawsuit has been placed. Lyft is responding back as well. In the video, she's heard saying, she can fit in the car. She's fit into smaller cars before, and the driver actually responded saying, "Believe me, you can't." Okay. And he then told her that his tires couldn't handle the weight. He apologized in mentioning, that she should order an Uber XL, which is like one of the larger cars options that they offer for like an additional price. He also said that he would refund her as well, so she wouldn't be charged. But she basically told Fox 2 that she was hurt by the entire situation, by the experience, and that's why she is seeking legal action. And under the law in Michigan, denying someone a ride based on their weight is technically considered the same thing as denying someone because of their race or religion.
Really?
So that's specifically for the state of Michigan.
Okay.
And I believe they said that Michigan is actually one of the, if not the only one of the few states that law is actually a law in place. So I just wanted to know your thoughts. Everybody's been talking about it online, and I think with the lawsuit, she's voicing her experience. She's voicing her pain, and I don't blame her for taking legal action in regards to it.
I see this situation as, yes, this is emotional damage. Because, you just basically said, I'm just too big to ride. That's just basically what it is. Now, I'm not no size 2 either. So I'm never going to, put myself in that type of space. But what I have learned in my media experience with like watching television with my mom, sometimes you have to accommodate your lifestyle choices around what you're currently choosing to deal with. Now, I'm not saying that he shouldn't have gave her a ride, because let's be honest, it's a Lyft. I'm not waiting out in the cold. I already waited. But it's also like, in the same breath, you know how Lyft is. You can see the car before it pull up. And it's like, you could look at the driver before they pull up. You're texting the driver before they pull up. So I feel like it could have been a conversation beforehand or a note that was put, on her side of things. But this is not just all her fault. That's not what this is. It's just the fact that, people have to be nicer, but also understand, just put a note. I'm not scared. I put notes all the time. I put it, I'll be like, hey, feeling a little, okay, the dress needs to be adjusted in the back, specifically the big back area. And I'm not scared to say it, but I understand some people aren't in that space, and they just want to be treated as everybody else. And I respect that as well. So I see faults on all sides, but at the end of the day, you should have gave that woman a ride. It's Detroit. Be for real.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Like you said, like it shouldn't have went down, or the ending result shouldn't be, I'm not going to give you a ride.
And that's the thing. Or it could have been like, okay, let me see if there's another driver in the area or something. Because I'm going to assume it was an event night, most likely. So at least he could have tried to, correct the problem rather than saying, you too big. Skirt. That's crazy. That's a little too crazy for me.
I completely agree. And of course, Lyft released a statement saying that Lyft unequivocally condemns all forms of discrimination. We believe in a community where everyone is treated with equal respect and mutual kindness. Our community guidelines and terms of service explicitly prohibit harassment or discrimination. So that's Lyft's official statement. And then, like I said, they're taking it to court. It's been filed, and we'll continue to keep you guys updated.
They'll probably settle that. I can see that. Yeah, they'll pay her. You be blessed, queen.
But I mean, at the end of the day, also, like, I guess, like, we'll see.
Right.
We'll see what happens. And I know it. She needs to come out with some music, because if her music is good, then
I think she's on a television show on the All Black Network. But I'm gonna do a little more digging into that because I found it on TikTok. So we'll do some digging around that because I'll get into the music too. I'm supporting all of it.
Me too. Lastly, Benicia. All right, so I saw this video on TikTok or Instagram, and I was like, "This is not funny. What is this?" So I want to share the clip with you and then get your take. It's supposed to be funny, but it's a little kid acting like it's his first day of work at Starbucks. But I'm gonna go ahead and share the clip with you guys.
All right.
Hi, what can I get you today, bitch? Here's your drink.
Thank you. It's supposed to have no whip.
I don't give a shit. It's just my first day. Have a good one. I quit. I quit this job.
He say that often. He said that with a confidence. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of putting children in adult-like environments or children using adult-like vocabulary. At the end of the day, you edited that video, you saw that video, you watched that video like for hours before even posting. So it's giving you knew what you were doing. And it's like, when will people stop trying to become popular off of the kids that they are around? That is their childhood. Why do you have a child doing that as an extracurricular? That's weird. The B word, he's too comfortable using that. And I understand, kids on the playground, they may test out certain stuff because they know they're not supposed to say it. But he giggling like this is his everyday situation. That's not okay, because it starts with B's, then it goes to F's, then it goes to MF's, then it goes to C's. You don't want any of that, because then now you have a child out there with an extensive vocabulary, but it's only extensive in regards to cussing. That's ignorant.
I think it's very distasteful. I think that, like you said, like, too comfortable, and it's not even like for I don't understand, and like you said, if this is like you're comfortable, with your kid doing this now, what's to come down the road?
And it's you at your job. Who let the kid in the back? Who that in the back? Who is that? Like, only because I know Starbucks strict. Like strict. So I'm like, who even let this happen? Because it looks as if there's like other adults around that's not like saying anything, saying like, hey, you don't think this is weird? Stop using kids for content just to make money. Go do something else. Do something else. Stop using kids' childhood to make content. We see what has already happened to our beloved stars. Leave these kids alone. Go get a job. Go get a camera. Go, I don't know, read the 48 Laws of Power. Do something. But leave these kids alone.
That's so funny that you said that.
Like, do something. Because
yes,
why are these adults allowing children to think this is okay? Because I'm not going to play it like, oh, I didn't try cussing as a kid. But, oh, my mom corrected that real quick. Real quick. She's like, you could do that when you grown, but don't have me touch you in front of these people. Love right. That was back in the day. That was back in the day, y'all. That was back in the day.
Not today.
Yeah, but I just think you have to allow. You gotta step back and think. You have to really think about what you're allowing because he's getting attacked too. Like, it's not just the people that posted it and filmed it and laughing about it. He's getting attacked too. Because, like, let's be real. His teacher will probably see that. His classmates will probably see that. And he'll be known as like, oh, you cuss now, say the word. And it's like, get expelled if you want to. No, it's not. It's inappropriate. And they know it's inappropriate. And it's like, stop using kids to make content. That's just my real tea. Didn't Ruby teach y'all something? Y'all ain't learned from Ruby? Okay. Okay. That's for the media lore people, the YouTube lore people.
On that note, I just want to say thank you again for joining us. Go ahead and, let everybody know where they can follow you online. I'm going to go ahead and.
Yep, you can follow me online on IG at BENICIACIARA. Same thing with YouTube and all of that. And yeah, that's me, everyone. Thank you, takers. Absolutely. Thank you, Tyler. It's always fun when we get together.
Yes, absolutely. I had so much fun. Thank you again for joining us. And then, like I said, we're going to have Malik join us as well for what's trending during that time, which will be interesting. So if those of you that are watching, if you guys want to share your thoughts and you didn't get to check us out live, you can comment on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch. Go ahead and share your thoughts on what we talked about today. If you're in those cities, maybe you're going to be trying that collaboration with Don Julio and Popeyes, or if you have some thoughts on NLE Choppa and his craziness, or any of the topics that we talked about today. Benicia, you already know, as always, we're going to drop some Thai-spiration real quick, and then we're going to get out of here. So once again, thank you for joining us, and we'll be sure to put all of your social media links as well so everybody can follow you. I'm going to leave you guys today with this quote. I clear, delete, destroy, and transmute this energy across all time, dimensions, space, and realities. And that is from Christy Marie Sheldon. So it's basically a statement of cleansing and transforming energy and just being really aware and observant of the energies and the different frequencies that are around us.
I love that. I'm going to steal my mom's quote. Live to tell the story. Experience everything. Trials, tribulations, mess ups, fall in love, meet friends. Live to tell the story. Live your life to the fullest.
Absolutely. I love that. And hopefully we will see you soon. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back on Sunday and next Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all the things. All right, Benicia. Thank you.
All right. Bye.